You're watching Access Asia on France 24 coming up in today's show. He's known as the Henry Ford of heart surgery. One doctor in India is revolutionizing the way cardiac operations are done. And from refugee to role model, the journey of an inspiring young man from Afghanistan. Plus, we'll cross to China's Sea of Golden Flowers. But first, when you think of assembly lines, one of the things that probably comes to mind is the auto industry. But what about the medical industry? One doctor in India is revolutionizing heart operations. His production line approach has slashed the cost of surgery, making it more accessible.
In this room, a patient is being stitched up post-operation. Next door, another patient is being prepped for surgery. 26 operating blocks, open 10 hours a day. At any given moment, up to 5 open heart surgeries are being performed here.
Normally, any heart hospital has 2 or 3 heart operations per day. This is today's list. This is 32 heart surgeries to be done in one day here in this hospital.
It's all thanks to this man, Dr. Devi Shetty, one of India's best-known cardiac surgeons, who was once Mother Teresa's personal physician. In his Bangalore hospital, each nurse or doctor performs the same action on consecutive patients. The goal is to optimize time and therefore treat more people.
And my colleague opened the chest, put all the tubes, he kept everything ready. Now I am ready to do the main operation. If I have to do this myself, it will take me a long time.
Each operating block is next to one another. That means the anaesthetist can survey up to 4 different patients simultaneously.
It is safe because I have about 15 years of experience. So I can tell when the things are going to go wrong, or I know when it is critical. I can be just as effective if I'm in the next theatre.
A production line heart surgery that Dr. Shetty says was inspired by the car industry.
I am a great fan of Henry Ford. He didn't invent car. He just made it affordable. So that is our desire. We want everyone in this world to afford heart surgery and healthcare. It is pointless we talking about developments in heart surgery or a cancer care if a common man cannot afford it.
Affordable healthcare is notoriously out of reach for India's poor. The government spends just 1% of its GDP on it. Here, Dr. Shetty performs 700 open heart surgeries per month at a cost of €2,000 per operation, up to 15 times cheaper than in France. And the hospital always works out a payment plan for those who struggle to put together the money. This man, for example, was able to get 2/3 of the amount. The rest will be covered by the hospital.
Hospital is making profit because we have got other facilities for the rich people to get very good treatment. They take a special room. They got TV and they got a microwave and their relatives can stay with them and they pay for all that. That's a balance. But treatment-wise, they get the best of treatment.
Their future goal is to accommodate 30,000 patients across 20 different clinics. The price of heart surgery in India could drop even further.
At the age of 11, Gulwali Pasarle escaped the Taliban and survived a 12-month journey across Europe to reach the UK. Today, he's an inspiration to other asylum seekers and even dreams of becoming president back home in Afghanistan. Our Richelle Harrison-Pless tells us Gulwali's extraordinary story.
The jungle in the French city of Calais, a gateway for asylum seekers dreaming of a new life in the UK. Afghan refugee Gulwali Pasarle meets young migrants from his homeland. He settled in Britain, but 9 years ago he too lived in the jungle. When Gulwali's father and grandfather were killed in US airstrikes, the Taliban pressured him to become a suicide bomber. His mother, desperate to protect him, sent him away to Europe, putting his life in the hands of human traffickers. He was only 11 years old. In 1 year, he travelled some 20,000 kilometres across 10 countries. But the worst memories, he says, are from his time in Calais.
Day felt like weeks and weeks felt like months. Every night when I go home and I have warmth, I have a place to stay. I find it hard to sleep. because I think about those people who are here and who...
Members of the jungle's large Afghan community gather around Gulwali, sharing their stories. Among them is Rahman, who arrived 3 months ago. At 12, he's the same age as Gulwali when he came to France all those years ago.
During the day, we look for food in the jungle and try to get some rest. At night, we try and climb into the trucks. Last night, the police sprayed us with so much tear gas that I almost passed out. That's what it's like every day.
In order to cross the English Channel, Gulwali hid in the back of a truck that was transporting bananas. He eventually arrived in Bolton, northern England, a miner and alone. Social services took him in, and a foster family welcomed him into their home.
I'm going to show you my room that I have not seen for 4 years. Welcome. Wow. This place was a place of comfort, a place of safety. So I used to get really tired, stressed out about studies, about the world. So this was the place I used to come in. Sometimes I used to come and cry.
The first few weeks were very difficult for Gulwali as he adapted to this new world, learning a new language, a new culture, and getting to know a new family. Fast forward nearly a decade and he's in his last year of a political science degree at the University of Manchester. He was offered a scholarship, surprising administrators with his dreams of becoming president of Afghanistan.
I was like, okay, this is very ambitious. But actually, the more you found out about Gulwali, you could see that this statement, there was a real serious intent behind it. This is somebody who I think has very important views on politics. He's clearly very bright.
Gulwali recently published his memoirs in a book titled The Lightless Sky. Aspiring president of Afghanistan and now author, he also hopes for a career at the UN and dreams of one day returning to his homeland.
Lovely. Thank you.
Next, a mountain in Pakistan hides a sacred treasure, millions of old or used Qurans that have been buried and protected. Known as the Mountain of Light, the hill has been visited by hundreds of thousands of people since two brothers turned it into a shrine for Islam's holy book.
Rows and rows of bags containing millions of Qurans. This is Jabal Noor in Pakistan's Balochistan province, a hill two brothers turned into a shrine for Islam's holy book back in the 80s. Old or damaged copies of the Quran are sent here to be protected from desecration. A life's mission for the elder of the two siblings, who still sends Quranic verses cut from the newspaper every day to be buried there.
I thought we should do something for the preservation of the Holy Quran out of what God has given us, so it can be saved. In the past, people used to burn old copies of the Quran or bury them in the land, or throw them into the Arabian Sea near Karachi.
The Quran is believed by Muslims to be the word of God as conveyed by the Prophet Muhammad. The text itself is sacred and, according to clerics, can only be disposed of in two ways, either by burying it in the ground or by letting the sea wash away the ink. Any disrespect to the Quran can bring accusations of blasphemy, punishable by death here in Pakistan. Over the years, believers have started coming from all over the country to bring their old Qurans or just to pray.
My husband visited this place and prayed to God, who accepted his prayer. After that, I believe that our prayer will be accepted.
The brothers have arranged collection points in religious seminaries and mosques to gather old Qurans, and the shrine is becoming a victim of its own success. Its dozens of tunnels are already full, and 2 more are under construction. But that may not be enough.
We are trying to find a way to make a recycling plant. If that happens, it will be fine. Otherwise, it will continue. In the future, as long as we have space, we will dig, and we will have to stop when there will be no space left.
The challenge will be to find a religiously acceptable way to recycle the books. In the meantime, thousands of Qurans are left out in the open, waiting for the mountain to provide them with a final resting place.
Well, now to a plant that's helped transform one of China's poorest areas. Mark Thompson tells us how harvesting canola flowers, also known as rapeseed, is a blooming industry.
Glowing fields of green and yellow, interspersed with hills as far as the eye can see. A unique view known as the Sea of Golden Flowers, and one that's turned Luoping in eastern Yunnan, China, into a hotspot for photographers, couples, and those looking to get away from city life.
We've walked for kilometres just to see these flowers. Look, they're incredible.
It's the first time we've seen anything like this.
I've just asked her to marry me. I chose this location because it's very beautiful. And she's very beautiful.
The plants responsible for these colours, rapeseed, grown primarily for its oil, which is considered healthier than olive oil, but its nectar also makes it an attractive option for beekeepers. In the spring, the flowers come out to bloom across 430,000 hectares of land, meaning there's plenty of food for this beekeeper's nearly 7 million bees.
The honey that's made from the rapeseed is very pure. Without a doubt, it's the purest in the country because there isn't a range of flowers. There's only one type for them to come into contact with. That's the difference. I make around 5 to 6 tons of honey each season here.
The golden period doesn't last long. After the rapeseed season is over, the bees have to be transported to other locations so they can feed off other types of wildflowers. Before then, it's not just the honeymakers that are taking advantage. Every day, tourists flock to the area in their thousands as the locals celebrate the annual Rapeseed Flower Festival.
It's not like in the city. Here you can breathe easily. There's no pollution. The sky is blue and the flowers are beautiful.
The plants have helped boost the local economy in a previously impoverished county, creating jobs and bringing in over 100 million euros a year. That despite the colourful rapeseed season only lasting for 2 months across February and March.
That's where we end this edition. I'll see you again next time on Access Asia.